Welcome back, people of the internet. Today I'll be trying to figure out why it took me so long to play this masterpiece. I'm your host, Saber Planet Entertainment, and this is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Don't go in. Part 1. Gameplay. The Witcher 3 has one of the greatest stories of all time. Overstatement?
Oh, no.
Here's why I really like how unique this whole scenario is with the story. It's vast. You can get tangled up in so many things, from just in-town local villagers' affairs or what's happening in there. You can find yourself making decisions at a political table, and just as flesh transition to helping sorcerers in a dungeon or fighting the Wild Hunt to save Ciri, who garnishes the Elder Blood.
See, I can do it too.
There's a big fluctuation here, and it seamlessly transitions from helping someone with their goats to fighting some sorceress. It's crazy. Like, seriously, this story is not cut and dry. There's so many different character arcs you'll experience and take part in, and you as a player have a lot of choice in what happens. You'll find yourself participating in plays, hunting ice giants, catching ghosts. There's so much to do. I mean, take a look at how many missions I've completed. I haven't even found them all yet. The characters. It's arguably The Witcher 3's biggest ace up the sleeve, and probably my favorite part of the game, maybe? Geralt as a main character, absolutely fantastic. His humor is super dry and deadpan and relatable in a great way.
You smell wonderful.
Geralt, we're at a funeral.
You smell wonderful at this funeral.
On top of about, I don't know, 150 amazing side characters, you also have other main characters like Vesemir, Ciri, and the two romance options for Geralt, Yennefer and Triss.
It was nice to see you again.
You too, Geralt.
Staying with the characters, something that The Witcher 3 does that I've never seen done before. It has meaningful side missions. In 99% of open world games, doing missions involves something like this. Please help me. What do you need, ma'am? My cat. He's missing. I can get him for a reward. I just want my cat back. Don't worry, I'll find him within 15 seconds. Ma'am, I found your cat. Oh, my cat. Yes, thank you, sir. Goodbye. Sir, please, anyone help me. What do you need? It's my dear cat. I went to feed him last night, and I think he got away out the front door. Some kids scared him off towards the forest over there. There's some footprints here if you want to follow. Of course, I'll reward you. As long as I'm getting paid, there's no problem. Time to examine these prints. Yes. Cat footprints, but there's only 2 of them. Never seen a cat walk on 2 legs before. Interesting. Trail ends here. Must be in that cave. Just what I suspected. Not a cat. You've been tricking that old lady, haven't you? Well, I found your cat, and it was actually not a cat. It actually tried to kill me, and I still want the reward. Well, I guess that's good news, as they won't be killing me now. Here you go. Every side mission you do has a great story. They're so great, in fact, I didn't even care about the reward at all. I wanted to do the side quest specifically to explore dungeons or do this contract to find an incredible monster on the other side. In fact, there's even a feature to negotiate the price to try and get a higher bargain while doing contracts, and I rarely even touch this option. Not because it sucked or didn't work, but mostly because I didn't want to take more coin from this family or this widow. In fact, if there was an option, I would have bargained for less.
Please, it's important.
The fellow will be quiet. Gran, please hear me out. I found little Yagna when she got lost, did I not? Did I break Ginny's fever too? I did. I ask anything in return? No. Didn't even fuss about my stolen voice. Well, now I want something.
Combat. The combat initially was a bit iffy to learn, but after a little bit of time I started to realize the potential and the flexibility of combat this game really has, especially when you throw in the skill tree. On top of count them two different types of swords, and using jump, dodge, light attacks, and heavy attacks that are well balanced, and also an arsenal of 5 base signs, also known as magical attacks. The combinations are endless. I mean, all 5 magic attacks are completely different from each other, which makes everyone unique.
How you like that silver?
Gwent. Of my 80-hour experience, I probably spent, say, 8 to 12 hours of playing Gwent. And I'm not afraid to admit that because Gwent, it's freaking awesome.
The concept is the great foundation to all good card and board games. Simple, yet complicated. I loved how you can collect cards throughout the story and kept getting better. And I love the different things that can either flip a game or just barely give you or the opponent the advantage and the edge. Using a card that can revive someone, a spy card to draw 2 extra cards, weather cards that can destroy a whole category or counter that with a hero card that isn't affected, or a clear weather. There's literally just so much to talk about with just Gwent. I just treasure the fact that I can collect a Triss Marigold or a Philippa Earhart card, yet and yes, you know, I'm still talking about a card game within another game. I'll stop here for now, because I could literally talk so much about Gwent. Other small, quote-unquote, things that aren't very small are things like the merchants and weaponsmiths around the world. The upgrade system is vast and gives you a lot of options, but I want to highlight the crafting system.
If I could describe it in a word or two, massive? Initially playing The Witcher 3 in the first couple hours, I was thinking,
I'm never going to use all these potions. What the hell? There's like 100 of them. That seems a little too much.
You're not seeing the big picture.
The Witcher 3 rookie mistake myself made is that I didn't realize how many different scenarios you'd find yourself in. Of course, you can't just use all potions at once to become Mega Jesus, because, you know, your toxicity levels would reach critical, and Geralt will look like the poster boy for poisonous things.
The Witcher 3 may not blow you away graphically. Okay, maybe it will. Especially with the scenery. But I'm going to break down the presentation into 3 main categories where I think The Witcher 3 just completely dominates every game I've ever played in presentation. And it ultimately ends to this exciting conclusion of me saying, The Witcher 3's got the best presentation of any game I've ever played in my life.
Presentation Part 1. Voice acting.
Indeed. It is what the elves would title Ciri. But what was the bit about the sign of her sword? A riddle?
Yeah, not a hard one, no. Not if you know Ciri named her sword Tireo. Swallow.
If I was a voice actor and I saw the script and I was auditioning for a part and I saw the script was, I don't know, 500 pages long, I would feel a little bit intimidated.
Which makes it more impressive at how consistently great the voice acting really is. No 2 main or side characters sound alike, and some are just so great. In fact, one of, if not my favorite scene in all of The Witcher 3 is a simple, really simple side quest that is completely carried by the voice acting and presentation. Take a look.
Why did you leave? You claimed to love me. I'm cold. Why has no one come for me? I cannot leave this place. I see no way out. Who are you? Do you seek to hurt me as well?
Don't be afraid. I want to lift the curse that grips this island. Your turn to tell me who you are. The other ghosts, they couldn't see me.
I'm special. Always was. The rare beauty. The Lord's daughter. These lands, as far as the eye can see, were ours. My family and I, we hid in the Mage's Tower to await the war's end, the end of hard times. It was not to be forever.
Mage who lived here. Who was he?
Alexander? I hardly knew him. He spent most of his time locked away in this tower. He's dead too, you know. They're all dead. Mountains of corpses, yet I stand here alone, all alone. They've all abandoned me. Even he who promised me everlasting love. You will abandon me as well.
If I can lift the curse, you yourself will be free to leave.
There's just something about the scene that I love. Maybe it's the voice that's completely opposite to how she looks. I don't know, it's just one of my favorite moments in The Witcher 3, and I'm not 100% sure why.
I believe we'd stowed ourselves away here to laugh at their misery. Yet we had little food as well. Too little to share with those who came. They slaughtered everyone. I heard my father cry out, but the mage told me not to reveal myself or let anyone in. He gave me a potion. If I was discovered, I was to drink it. He said everything would be all right.
What kind of potion was it? Remember its smell? What it looked like?
I remember only that I feared to drink it.
Didn't trust the mage?
In the village, they claimed he meddled in disease. Not curing it, but causing it. They said he lured rats into the tower, infected them with the Catriona.
Presentation Part 2. Enemy and character design.
So many times I found myself following footprints into a cave, or, following the citizen's advice to where her husband died or some shit, and, finding some new monster or some crazy stuff, and I'd be like, this looks amazing. Like, I'm obligated, I feel, to point out a couple examples here.
The Crones.
Sheathe your weapon, young man.
Good God, do I love the design of these whatever they are. The longer you look, the crazier it gets. I just love the imagination that went into crafting something that isn't even super main to the story. Another example of design that is one of my favorite, the Leshen.
Did anybody have nightmares as a kid about a monster in a forest or something in the forest? That's the Leshen. I remember just riding through on a quest or exploring or some shit early on in the game, and I ran across the Leshen through the trees, and I was like, what is that? I was like, is that getting closer? And then it got closer. I was like, okay, this thing's like 25 levels above me, and it looks crazy. This thing's gonna fuck me up. So I was always afraid of that spot until I actually got to level up, came back, kicked its ass, but still, the Leshen is probably my favorite monster in the game. Yeah, sure, there's a lot of characters in The Witcher 3, and a lot of their designs are great. It's just the cherry on top of a great narrative for whichever character you look at, seriously, whether it's Triss's most prominent feature, her fire red hair, and one of my favorites, Avallac'h. I mean, he just looks godly. Like, his whole getup is like slick as shit. My favorite though, I keep going back to Philippa Eilhart. She's part of the Sorceress's Lodge, so she's obviously powerful. I'm not too sure why I love this simple design. I think what's badass about this setup is the blindfold not only adds a bit of mystery, but we know she will fuck people up while blindfolded. Just makes her seem more cutthroat. I know some stuff has happened to her in the past in like The Witcher 2, I believe, or The Witcher 1. I'm not sure, I haven't played either of those, but I have played The Witcher 3, and I loved Philippa.
No equality in the Lodge? That's garbage. Some have always taken the reins, while others politely nodded.
A wise and capable sorceress finds the role, the position that best suits her.
And yours should be supreme. You deserve to lead. Realize, please, that you were made for great things. Work with us and you shall achieve them. Just as soon as we teach you to control your power, channel...
I have Avallac'h for that.
Presentation Part 3. The exceptional music.
For all my years of gaming, I've always held true to the fact that Hexen for the Nintendo 64 and GoldenEye 007 for the Nintendo 64 have the strongest soundtracks in gaming history. And I'm sure there's some out there that I haven't played yet that I'll put in that category, but it better make room, because The Witcher 3, for the first time since I was like 9, it's joined into that list. The Witcher 3's music is exceptional. I can't say enough about it.
And just like Hexen and GoldenEye, it's not about a soundtrack or two that is really, really great. It's more about an entire array of soundtracks that are memorable and are hit after hit. The menu music for The Witcher 3, it's good. It's decent. It's not up there for me, but, you know, the combat music is really damn good. But by far, my favorite soundtracks that I just can't get enough of is the basic ambient soundtrack that plays when you're just doing whatever. The soundtracks will stick with me forever. Beginning of the game, exploring Bellin. The city of Novigrad. Playing Gwent for a long ass time. Arriving to the Skellige Isles for the first time. Or my personal favorite, Kaer Morhen's soundtrack. It's just wow. Where do I even start? This game is so crazy. In all my favorite games of all time, there's always been a tier above everything. This is the insane tier. Like, this is the craziest stuff I've ever played. Resident Evil 4, The Last of Us, BioShock Infinite, Life is Strange, and now The Witcher 3. And I believe The Witcher 3's world built as a whole works because it's alive and believable. All the characters, all the monsters, the land, the story, the citizens of Novigrad, Velen, and Skellige, the literal hundreds of different scenarios to explore, the fact that you get a choice in what happens, it all comes full circle to create probably the most alive and interesting worlds ever created.
2 centuries ago. I do hope I remember how it's done. And you? Have you faced one of us? No, you couldn't have. You'd not have survived.
I just can't get across how much I feel at home exploring through this game and doing quests. I played 80 hours of it and it was consistent. Hour 1 to 80, it was great. Even after the game ended, I wanted more. I want to know what's going on with Ciri. I want to know what Philippa's doing. I want to know what the Sorceress's Lodge is doing. What about Vernon Roche? He was awesome. There's so much more I want to know, which is what I think The Witcher 3 pulls ahead with against other similar length games like Red Dead 2. Because when Red Dead 2 finished, that was it. I was like, okay, John's story's done. Spoilers. Arthur died. And that's it. That's the end of the story. The big series, big ending. Sadie Adler left to do her thing. And I was like, okay, that's it. But with The Witcher 3, I'm like, where the fuck is the rest? I want 80 hours more. Let's go. Come on, let's go. While I'm on Overall Impact, I want to do a quick little thing talking about the cutscenes. They're awesome in this game. But the fight cutscenes, whoa. They're really something special. The sound effects combined with the visuals and how the fight is choreographed. Gorgeous. I mean, literal, oh my god. So nice. So overall, if you boil all the numbers down, this is obvious. It's a 10 out of 10. 100, 100, 100. 10 out of 10. I think it'll be hard to find anybody out there who reviews this game to give it less than a 9. I don't know. I think I've said what I wanted to say on the game.
So that's it. Sadly, after 80 hours, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is closed. For now. I wanted more. That's crazy to say after 80 hours, but I am getting more. I already bought the season pass that includes 2 massive expansions on DLC, worth 30 hours of gameplay alone. Now, my goal is to hold off a little bit, give myself a little break, play some other games I have in the lineup, but I honestly don't think I'll wait that long. I think at some point I'll break down, download the game, and start playing the DLC before you could say, you like that silver? I'm your host, Saberplant Entertainment, and I hope you enjoyed this review. Peace.
Thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. If you want to support my channel, make sure to like and subscribe for future videos. I cover all areas of entertainment, from books to movies, TV shows, and games, all the above. And if you're really dedicated, I do have my Patreon links in the description. Anything that's donated to my channel in any way necessary, half of it is going back to charity because it's the least I can do. So hopefully you enjoyed the video and have a great day. Peace.